Okay, so let's start. So the appreciation game is a download from the field, and and I started trusting the downloads of the field. And so basically, I don't analyze anymore. I just stay in a mode of appreciation and tuning into guidance. And when the guidance comes, I execute. And this is actually how Ellen and I have really created our company and how we even found each other. We actually didn't even know each other. Me as a headhunter, let me tell you something about me. I will actually dissect your CV and find out whether I want to work with you. But after I started understanding heart and brain coherence, I stopped doing that. I just thought, if it feels good, it's going to be good. So that is why Ellen and I started downloading the appreciation game, and the outline, as always, just came to me in a flash. And so what you're going to see is the result of that. So we're going to go through the Abraham teaching, and then Ellen will talk us through the science of appreciation. And then I'm going to explain the outline of the appreciation game. Ellen will take us through the testimonials, and then we're going to go to the offer. So Abraham says that when you appreciate for 30 days, you will actually have a dramatic change. And we love the word dramatic change because that means that's really good, right? So they say 6 months, the change will be so powerful, so strong. Others who know you will not recognize the old you because you're a new you. So that sounds interesting, right? So that really grabbed our attention. And then Ellen and I thought, let's do a pilot. Let's really look at this as a game for 7 days. First, we thought 40 days. We thought 7 days, more than enough. You know, I find it hard to be accountable for like 1 day, let alone 7 days. So we did it for 7 days with a group of 40 people. And so basically, you're going to see the testimonials of the 7 days. But really what we saw was that it went beyond gratitude. Appreciation is beyond gratitude. And actually, that's really also what Abraham teaches, because gratitude is great gratitude for something. Appreciation is actually increasing the value of something. But what we really wanted to take into consideration was that it had to be an accountability game. Because without accountability, people go back into the resistance, go back into their old self, and they don't have time. And we all know that everything else comes in front of, you know, our work, the inner work that we need to do. And when we are faced with big dramatic changes, that's the first thing that's going to show up. Excuses. Let's do it tomorrow. It's not time yet. I'm not ready yet. You know, so really. So yeah, that's why we did a 7-day appreciation game as a accountability game. And that is how we're going to design also the whole course of 6 months. But you can participate for 7 days, 20 months, or 6 months. Of course, you can also participate for 2 months. So, you know Abraham, if you're here. Abraham are collective divine intelligence channeled by Esther Hicks. And Abraham has been, you know, I manifested everything I wrote down in a book for a few months' time. When I was taught the Abraham Hicks processes, the only thing was I didn't know I was taught Abraham Hicks. I was just doing my homework according to my energy teacher. She told me to do the placement process. So she basically told me to do placement process and gratitude every day. And once I started doing that, the changes were so profound. So I'm just going to mute somebody. Somebody's unmuted. So I'm going to mute you. Yeah, thank you. So basically, once I started doing the placement process and the gratitude, and I had to write down who I was being, within a few months' time, I actually manifested everything on the placement process. And I mean, amazing, beautiful, soulmate man that was like one of the biggest loves of my life walked into my hotel in San Francisco while I was dating somebody that I would say low self-esteem boyfriend, my low self-esteem boyfriend. And I manifested several job offers for amazing roles in London, when I was living in London, in Holland. And I manifested the dream apartment with a view of the Thames. So And I was writing it down, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I just thought, well, if I have to dream big, that's what I'm going to do. So when I found out that it was Abraham, I started obsessively studying Abraham. And that was my journey. My journey was, I need to understand Abraham, because if it works, it works. And it worked because everything came into my life. Could you please unmute yourself, everybody? I'm just gonna, Ellen, could you just check who is, let me make Ellen a co-organizer. Sorry, everybody. So if you could, Ellen can now mute people. Yeah. So please be careful with your phone, because we can actually hear you. So we're trying to mute all of you so that we don't have any disturbance. Thank you. And Ellen can now also mute people because she's no co-organizer now. So having said that, I was basically really obsessively studying Abraham, listening to an iPod, traveling, commuting in London. All 3 of their books, I believe. I was listening day and night because I was in a commute for 1-2 hours a day. Yeah. So I have a lot of time to listen to Abraham. So I listened to all the processes. I listened to how it started, you know, and I listened to, you know, what they think about, you know, who we are and what life is about. And basically, according to Abraham, they say that appreciation is the magic key. And they said, if there's only one thing you need to understand, that's only you need to understand appreciation. It's the only tool you would ever need to predominantly align with who you really are. And we know that law of attraction doesn't give you what you want. Law of attraction gives you who you are being. It matches you. You are not getting things because law of attraction is trying to punish you. Law of attraction is not like God trying to punish you. It's also not your mother trying to please you. Law of attraction just shows you who you are being. And that's the same as the Dr. Joe Dispenza teaching. Your personality creates your reality. If you don't like it, you have to change your personality to create a new reality. So Abraham Hicks says, if it was the only thing you would do, then your life would improve in ways you never thought possible. Well, that's a big claim, right? So we started studying, what is it that Abraham Hicks is really like claiming? Well, Abraham Hicks claims that appreciation is the highest vibration. It is higher than love, because love has a lot of conflicting stuff in there for us human beings. And we all know that, right? Appreciation is not love. It's higher than love. Appreciation creates results in your life. So it's not just you're appreciating and nothing happens. No, appreciation creates things. And appreciation improves your lives. So you start thriving instead of surviving. You start aligning instead of resisting. You start getting into receptive mode instead of being in, you know, doubting whether, when is it coming, where is it? You get into receptive mode, and then things show up magically in your life. It is the opposite of lack. When you appreciate, you're not sitting there thinking, where's my stuff? Yeah, you feel abundant. And it stops you analyzing. And this is the thing, this is the addiction of our modern world. We love analyzing. Now, Abraham would say, you're either analyzing or you're appreciating. And for me, somebody that studied and studied for years, I love analyzing. That was a big game changer for me. Not to analyze, to really start tuning in to appreciation and to heart and brain coherence, to practice that as a way of living, and then to just receive the guidance, the blocks of thoughts that are coming all the time, and use appreciation as your point of focus, because it really has the magic to change your life. So basically, appreciation, how it works or how it feels, more importantly, how do you recognize appreciation? I have to breathe. It feels like alignment with who you really are. It feels like absence of lack. You feel abundant. You feel everything is fine. Life works for you. It feels like absence of resistance, doubt, and fear. Well, you know what? In our business, career, money, and very often in our personal relationships, that's really what rules our world. Resistance, doubt, and fear. It feels as absence of anger. Well, you know, sorry, my computer. Absence of anger, and it feels like appreciation of self and others. When you appreciate yourself, you appreciate others. When you appreciate others, you actually are appreciating yourself. So everybody's a reflection of your relationship to yourself. It feels like absence of bad feelings. and it feels like the presence of everything that feels good. And if you look at this list, you need to actually ask yourself, how often am I in this state that feels like, you know, nirvana? It feels like I died and went to heaven, because I don't have doubt, I don't have fear. And especially in your business life, your money life, or your career, let alone relationships, which is what we'll be dealing with in the second money appreciation game. How often do we actually feel this way? It's very, very, very rare. And today we will explain why, because we are conditioned and programmed into other ways of being that we would describe as the toxic ways of being and thinking. Appreciation is also linked to the receptive mode. And the receptive mode is when you dissolve your resistance and you start to hear block of thoughts that source is offering. So you start to really clearly receive the guidance from your inner being and from source. And you start to follow and trust it, because I can tell you, you're probably already receiving guidance from your inner being, but you don't trust it. You override it with a little analysis, or you're going to start analyzing, thinking, oh, but how am I going to do that? Oh, it doesn't really make sense. It's not even logical, you know? So you do not trust and you do not follow the blocks of thought that your inner being is offering you in your business, in your dating life, in your health journey. You know, you are probably more often than not going to talk to people, experts, you're Googling stuff, you're asking experts, you're in forums. You know, this is what Abraham Hicks always is like joking about, right? Instead of doing the inner work. So, and also appreciation and the receptive mode, it leads you to experience a happy journey towards manifestation. Because a lot of us are like, I'm going to be happy when the manifestation happens. But actually, that is just like a snap moment, the manifestation. Wouldn't it be amazing if you had a happy journey towards the manifestation? So appreciation is really, really highly connected with the law of vibration. So law of vibration is a webinar that I ran. If you want to study it, I can send you the link. The law, the law of vibration is really a culmination of all my studies and all the masterminds that I ran for several years. And the highest vibration is appreciation. As I said, is higher than love, because it makes you line up with source. And it is also the absence of self-inflicted limitations. I'm going to drink some tea with Manuka honey. If you have a question, please, Ellen will try to answer until it's my turn to read the chat. I cannot read the chat and run a webinar, sorry.
We just have a question to send a link, but we're going to send a link to everyone, right?
Okay, great.
So we will, yes.
Yes, practicing appreciation. When you practice appreciation in self with self-love, that is the magic formula. This is one of the quotes of Abraham Hicks in one of their seminars. They said, appreciate yourself and appreciate others. It's the closest vibrational match to source. Imagine that you only appreciate yourself, you don't appreciate others. What are you, a narcissist? Imagine you only appreciate others, you don't appreciate yourself. What are you? Well, you're not in high self-esteem, or you don't have self-honoring, right? You are separating yourself from others or from your greatness. And so really appreciating is a tough task, I will tell you, because when we were doing the 7-day game, definitely we were all challenged. We were challenged by the people we love. We were challenged by our friends. We were challenged by circumstances. And this is why the appreciation game is such a game changer, because you're going to come up with your resistance, your program, your judgments of your life, the people around you, the circumstances in your life that you don't like, and you will still have to practice appreciation, because when you are in this game, you got to play all out, because you want to find out whether this stuff works or not. Ellen and I created consciousness games for our company, Conscious World Club, because we want to attract people that are not just philosophers, as Dr. Joe says, they are the doers. And they're not just philosophers thinking, you know, going from study to study, talking about it, creating quotes on Instagram, sharing quotes, but not living it. No, we want to work with those people that actually live it and that want proof. They're not happy when their money situation isn't changing. They're not happy when they're dating and they keep on attracting the most unavailable people ever. They're not happy when they keep dating the same people in different bodies, yeah? So you actually have to see an improvement. You actually have to see changes in your life when you start playing the appreciation game. That's what we're aiming for. And I started playing appreciation game in my love life, and that's why I'm now no longer single, and I'm with a beautiful, beautiful man. And but yeah, that will be the next webinar that we'll be running, and the next game that we'll be playing based on our own experience. So appreciation, how often? You have to do it every day, every moment. You have to bask in it, applaud people, acknowledge the well-being that is abundant and everywhere, and you will receive it back. When you do it, you receive it back 1,000-fold. That is what Abraham says. Is it true? Well, we're gonna find out, right? I definitely found out in many areas of my life, including my business, that completely dramatically shifted, and my love life, which also dramatically shifted. So what should you appreciate? You should appreciate yourself, others. You can appreciate in advance. You can appreciate contrast. Well, that is a difficult one, I can tell you, because there's a lot of resistance to contrast. A lot of us are not used to appreciating contrast. We actually really, we go very often in patterns of self-criticism and self-rejection and self-hatred when we create contrast. We say, what's wrong with me? You know, so, or we blame something else. We appreciate success, not just our own, but the success of others. Small successes that lead us onto the path of the big manifestation. We appreciate our desire. And I can tell you very often, we don't even believe our desire. We are doing everything but appreciating our desire. We are fearful of our desire. We are not lining up with our desire. We are doubting our desire. We are looking for our desire outside of us. We're not becoming the person that can actually welcome it in and allow it in. So, you know, this is a very good list to actually question yourself. It's like, am I appreciating my desire? And I mean all my desires. And if I'm appreciating them, shouldn't it be in my life right now, in the 3D world, in the three-dimensional world, instead of just in my vortex? We want you to have your vortex here in the 3D world because it's possible. And also what to appreciate the well-being of others, meaning the success of others. So when you know that others are successful, see it as a mirror for what you're a vibrational match to, instead of going into what we really often do when we are in scarcity consciousness. Often we go into feelings of comparison and competing. We start feeling not good enough about ourselves, or we start resenting others. We envy them. We say, oh, actually, I'm better than them. You know, so again, this is really, really a game changer. When you start appreciating, we're not talking about one area of your life. We're talking about all habits that you have that put you firmly into how you're relating to the world and everybody you meet and everything that's going on in your life. So Abraham talks about the state of appreciation. So the state of appreciation, like a state of gratitude or a state of depression or a state of disbelief or whatever you can imagine, you can create a state in your body and in your belief system and in your identity. But as a state of appreciation, you can actually think about it this way. The essence of what you appreciate is constantly flowing into your reality. So think for yourself, what is constantly flowing into your reality? And if you're not appreciating it, maybe that's why it's not flowing into your reality. Maybe you're more tuned into the lack of what you want in your life, and you're not actually appreciating what is already there, so not more can come into your life. And also they're talking about find more things to appreciate. And also when you do that, it opens more avenues to feel appreciation for. And when you have cultivated the state of appreciation, you are in what Abraham Hicks says, the chronic alignment with the vibration of seeing through the eyes of source. And that is amazing. Seeing through the eyes of source is very rare, I can tell you. Not often do we have that. I think most people need like a near-death experience before they can say, I am actually seeing through the eyes of source. Most of us in this world, we are hindered by our identity and by our programs. And hardly do we ever see through the eyes of source. It's almost, I think you would have to meet somebody like a Dr. Joe Dispenza and how he teaches his team leaders, you know, to see the best in people, to always see possibility in others. People who do that, they're mostly trained teachers. They are coaches trained with the best in the world, like Tony Robbins or Dr. Joe Dispenza or Bob Proctor, you know, or Vishen Lakhani maybe, or Michael Bernard Beckwith. It doesn't happen very often. This is not our second nature. Our second nature is to criticize ourselves and then to also criticize others. And to really, you know, we don't even know where it stops because we see self-criticism as a way of improving ourselves. It's a way, and we sometimes think, if I don't criticize myself, if I'm too happy with myself, then how can I improve? So Abraham is teaching us a complete different way, which is start appreciating, and then more things will flow into your life and things will shift because you are seeing through the eyes of source. You're in chronic alignment with who you really are. So what does happen when we don't appreciate? So basically, this is a game changer. Again, this is a quote I found from one of their seminars. And it talks about when we look in the outer world and we're not happy, we very often don't see that the real cause is that what we criticize outside of us is actually really about the way we feel about ourselves. Take that in for a moment. You are blaming economy, politics, greed, pharmaceutical companies, your parents maybe, your ex, your children's disease, I don't know what it is, you're blaming something. But actually, it creates lack in several areas of your life, and it creates negative things in your life. What we criticize, so criticize is of course the opposite of appreciation, right? When we criticize, we actually are going to see that it is really reflecting the way we feel about ourselves. So self-appreciation is really important because when we're not appreciating the self, we're not lining up with our inner being, and our inner being adores us. When you hear Dr. Joe or teachers like Abraham talk about how our inner being loves us unconditionally, it's almost like mind-blowing, it's mind-boggling. Think like, huh, do I deserve the type of love? But we have a lot of rules for when we love ourselves. So the rules, you know, those of you that know Tony Robbins' work, we have a lot of hidden rules that we don't even know is stopping us from loving ourselves. And we just like that, those things just run like a program in the back of our head. And we cannot allow in the love of our inner being to line up with that so that we can actually be more of ourselves. So yeah, so this is very profound. So right now, we actually manifested a scientific paper. It's called The Appreciative Heart. And I can tell you, Ellen and I were Googling for many days, for many weeks, like I think 2 to 3 weeks, for scientific material validating the science of appreciation as a tool for improving your life. And I couldn't find it. And those of you who watched the Facebook Live or watched the formal webinar, one day I got a download. I got this intuitive hit that said, go to HeartMath. And I now know that I should trust it. I go to HeartMath. HeartMath's website is full of millions, it feels like millions of papers, yeah? And I just didn't know where to go. And at one point, I just started navigating like on automatic. I just thought, okay, let's go there, let's go there, let's go there. And literally, you know, some websites, they're designed for people who have really good eyes. Well, I don't have really good eyes. I actually need to wear +1 glasses, and I don't wear them because they look dumb on me. So I actually just intuitively click on a document, and I thought, you know what, I cannot, one document should actually explain what all the other documents are saying. So I'm just gonna download this document, and I'm not gonna think about it. So, and imagine my surprise when I clicked on the document, and what happened? I saw the title of the document. The document was called The Appreciative Heart. So, and then I immediately texted Ellen. I said, oh my God, we're so guided. We can trust our downloads. We can so trust what is coming to us. And so Ellen is going to guide us through the science of appreciation. So thank you, and I'll be back.
Save your voice. Hello, hello. I'm the introvert of the duo, so don't mind me. So yeah, appreciation, the meaning of it is actually increasing the value of something. So here are all these words that mean that have something to do with appreciation, but the most important thing is an increase the value of something, a person, a thing, or the environment. Next slide, please. Important is that gratitude is not appreciation. It is a part of appreciation, but appreciation goes much deeper. As I said before, it increases the value of things. So I like to use the word energy. So it increases the energetic value of things, which makes me feel like you walk around and you sort of can up the value of things, like, for example, a plant or something in your house. And gratitude is being grateful for something you've received. So that's the key difference. The more you appreciate, the more you literally increase your own and others' value. I like the word your own too, because you can increase your own value so you can become a better person. So when you want to become better, then appreciate yourself. I just tried it before we started this webinar. I was like, oh my God, it feels so good. And do you want to have a more harmonious environment, like more harmonious relationships, more harmonious home? Appreciate. So the description is an active feeling of thankfulness or upvaluing, which has an energetic quality that uplifts one's energy and spirit. Uplifting. Appreciation is a higher degree of coherence in the heart's rhythmic activity. So 0.1 hertz is the coherence natural state of the body. And when you appreciate, you go to that coherence. But the key is here that you have to feel it, so positive emotion. You can't just go, I appreciate you, I appreciate you, I appreciate you. You feel the appreciation, and then that's when the 0.1 hertz is achieved and you're actually upvaluing things or humans or environment. So optimal functioning is what appreciation achieves, or also known as flow, like being in a state of flow, like being in the zone is what can be achieved with appreciation. So here's some words: peace and internal balance, less irks, annoyances in your life, regenerated body, clear mind. You actually study better, you're actually performing better, so why not appreciate? I also like clarity in decisions. It's easier to know what to do or what not to do. It's easier to obtain coherence for a longer duration when you're appreciative. So achieving coherence is one of the things we want to achieve with appreciation, but it's easier to stay in coherence when you use appreciation. The coherent patterns in the neurological architecture become familiar. So the more you appreciate, the more familiar it becomes to your body, the more you'll naturally gravitate towards appreciation, which makes a lot of sense. So whenever things like irks, we said in the last slide before, will happen, then you're easily go back to appreciation rather than being like, oh my God, what's going on? So we may think we're built towards positivity because we think we are the 5% of our brain, but we're of course also that 95% of the subconscious brain. So we're actually more prone because we're programmed. It's nothing to feel bad about. It's just the way we're programmed. So irritation, anxiety, worry, self-doubt, and blame. So we need to consciously make the effort to engage, build, and sustain these perceptions and positive perceptions and emotions. So these new familiars, feelings can become so familiar that they are your new self-identity, and it can be your habitual state of being. But you can change this by consciously being active in your appreciation efforts. So actively appreciating. Oh, I think that's you again, Angelique.
Thank you, Ellen. So lack of appreciation. Again, think of this slide, that it's all about you. Everything that's not going well in your life is actually reflecting how you feel about yourself. If you're just criticizing something else, you're criticizing yourself, because your inner being will turn it around with appreciation. So what are the ramifications? So let's go to the money, business, and career edition. Ellen and I thought, money, business, and career, in the beginning of January, always everybody is going around screaming, this is the best year ever. They're going to change the game. They're going to achieve big goals. And after a few weeks, they're back in the old program. So lack of appreciation is one of the reasons why people are experiencing stuckness, misalignment, there's no flow, actually the opposite of what we saw when we have heart and brain coherence. And I have to breathe normally. So it makes us fall back into what I would call survival, living in a state of survival instead of in a state of creation. It makes us fearful. It makes us fall back into competing instead of creating. We suffer from low self-esteem, and we struggle in business and money, and we don't doubt our inner guidance. So just see the signs of appreciation chart of what you can achieve with coherence, and the lack of it is the opposite. So basically, this is really the predominant ways that we are running our lives. So we're living in a state of survival. And if we're not living in a state of creation, which is living in a state of appreciation, living in a state of positive expectation, living in a state of, just allowing ourselves to be a cooperative component for Source, we are actually living in a state of survival. And when I really started understanding this teaching, which is from Dr. Joe Dispenza, I was flabbergasted by how often I was living in a state of survival. And my biggest aim was then, this was like 2 years ago, I kept saying to myself, my main intention is to live in a state of creation. And funny enough, in the beginning, I had no clue what it was. I was like, what is the state of creation? And then there was this one testimonial in the Dr. Joe Dispenza community of a specific person that I was hypnotized by this person, because this person was living in a state of creation. And I thought, I am going to be like him. And I'm not sure I'm there yet, but I'm getting very close. And he just exhibits a joie de vivre and a belief in himself. And he has what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls, he has no neural network for failure. So his brain, there is no neural network that says failure. His brain has a neural network for everything is possible. He thinks of something, it is possible. So can you imagine that you in your business, in your money, in your career, that you would have that neural network of there's no failure, there's just possibility. So that's what we can practice. That's how we can recondition ourselves. This is the Dr. Joe Dispenza work, right? This is what we're doing. Again, when in absence of appreciation, we're going to a state of survival. We live by the so-called human laws and human conditioning, the human paradigms that don't work in a reality that is governed by the universal laws. So we start to think in terms of scarcity. We start to think there's not enough money, there's not enough clients, there's too much competition. All my competitors are giving all these discounts. Maybe I should too. People start competing. People start taking mindless action. They start taking courses about which action should I take, which strategy should I follow for my business, but it doesn't work because their consciousness is staying on the same level of survival. They are ignorant of the levels of consciousness that are ruling the effects in their life. They're also ignoring guidance and intuition that is giving them clues. They are very often stuck in the saboteur archetype. And very often that also goes together with victim consciousness, where they feel overwhelmed, they don't feel powerful, they don't identify with their innate power to change circumstances and to command matter. They suffer from self-worth issues. And this is all happening in your money business and your career. They are stuck by pendulums of hard work. This is one of the chapters of the book, Reality Transurfing. It's a very important book if you want to study that. Pendulums of hard work are rife in our society. We really believe that hard work is the way to success, but it's the opposite. You would listen to Abraham, just listen to Abraham Hicks and hard work and see what they're saying. Very often we use hard work to compensate for the lack of alignment, the lack of belief in our success, in actually that actually things can go gracefully and easy for us. And we are, in the absence of appreciations, we're run by subconscious programs. And a lot of our subconscious programs are just trying to make us survive and not take any risk. And so this is the opposite of what we should be doing when we're trying to live in a state of creation. In a state of creation, you're not run by subconscious programs. You're living in harmony with the field, and you're going to start resonating with the guidance that's coming from the field. And the field is divine intelligence. You know, there's a lot of divine intelligence around us that is trying to help us. And very often we're stuck in transgenerational trauma. So very often when we look at money and business and career issues, we often see that something happened in the generations before, where there was some kind of suffering or some kind of loss, some kind of injustice around money. And that then really affects people. And of course, I've been trained as well in family constellations and in organizational constellations. So I plan to specialize in money constellations, money and career constellations, because it's such a pain area in a lot of people's lives. And so this this area, when we're living in a state of survival, because we're not using the tool of appreciation as a simple tool to get into heart and brain coherence, we can get into all of these side effects that are really very, very painful. So what is this living in a state of creation? Well, I told you I didn't know what it was 2 years ago. Now I have studied it a lot, and I'm living it, and I am training myself to stay here. I'm not always there, but I am there maybe, I think, 75% of the time, because I will give you like an example. Ellen and I, if we try to write from our brain, it hurts. And I used to be amazing in my brain. Like now I cannot even go to my brain. If I need to go to my brain, it hurts. Now I have to just download. I need to wait until I'm in a receptive mode. And then I just do things like in 15 to 30 minutes. That's all it takes. And before that, I would just spend days and hours analyzing things and creating flowcharts and whatever. Now I just download. That is living in a state of creation, trusting the downloads, but also knowing why you can trust it. You have to study universal laws. You have to know the universal laws. You have to live from the end result. You cannot be observing what is, the unsatisfactory results of what is. You have to understand abundance. What is abundance and what is prosperity consciousness? You have to raise your level of consciousness and vibration. And that has everything to do with the teachings of David Hawkins, which we'll go, which we will discuss in depth when we play the game. You have to teach yourself how to get in the receptive mode to allow in your most amazing magical life from moment to moment. When you're triggered, you need to get yourself out of it as soon as possible. You need to be open to guidance and intuition. You need to understand and practice heart and brain coherence. You need to see through the eyes of Source, you know, and Source sees things in a very different way than we do as human beings. And we need to receive what we vibrate out into the quantum field. We need to know that everything we get is feedback about what we are sending out. There's a very beautiful interaction between what we see is what we're a vibrational match to. That is one of the most important concepts, which is you are a vibrational match to what's showing up. And so you are in control. You're not powerless. You're not a victim. The field is not punishing you. God is not punishing you. The universe is not punishing you. The universe is just showing you who you are being in that specific moment in time. And you can change it in the eternal now. That's how powerful you are. So in my Facebook Live, you already heard this, is also in our webinar of the first one. We also, we started comparing appreciation to the 7 toxic ways of thinking and being. So let's go there. So who are we showing up as when we're in the toxic ways of thinking and being? Imagine that appreciation is increasing the value of something, and devaluing is the absolute opposite. So who are we being when we are showing up as the person who is devaluing or criticizing? We are in fight and flight, or we are in defense mode. We are in the amygdala. We are not in the resourceful parts of our brain. We are criticizing, we're analyzing, and we're in warrior mode, protecting ourselves, yeah? Victimization, blame. You come as a victim to the table, You are telling the universe, I am a victim. How can the universe give you more than you being a victim? You don't take ownership. You are not resourceful. Source is trying to tune into you, but you're not in receptive mode. You're comparing and competing in your business or your career, your money. You're comparing yourself with people who are better or worse than you, or you're comparing yourself with, you know, people that are way beyond you, thinking that you don't have value, and you're competing. You're thinking about, oh my God, all these people are doing this, I should be doing this too, and you know, blah, blah, blah. Really, this is all a result of survival thinking and of the scarcity mindset. It is also comparing and competing is taking you away from your uniqueness. There is a place and a market for who you are in any area. But the only thing is, if you're going to go into comparing and competing, you're not going to be able to attract, you know, those circumstances, events, and people that will actually recognize you as the person that they should be working with. We are time warping most of the time. We are, as Abraham Hicks says, we're historians. We love to regurgitate the past, but we did not come here to regurgitate the past. We're not here to be hypnotized by what we manifested and what we don't like. We're here to create history. We're here to create, not to regurgitate the past. We're generalizing. You know, very often, you know, we see ourselves and other people closing ourselves off to what all the scientists are telling us, which is there's a field of quantum infinite possibilities. You know, there's so much quantum potential out there, but we're always just generalizing based on our old experience, very often to protect ourselves, very often to not be disappointed by what will come. Yeah. Very often we also do catastrophic thinking. You know, just listen to the news, just listen to maybe, you know, the way that people talk about what happened to them. And, you know, they are full of scenarios of catastrophic thinking. Some of the movies that we see, you know, they're just going, you know, they're talking about aliens attacking us, talking about, you know, zombies, our Earth, you know, getting underwater. And all of these things are, I think, examples of our collective fear that results in one of the seven toxic ways of being, which is catastrophic thinking. We don't think the best case scenario. We are trained to think in worst case scenario. That is why in one of the months of the appreciation game, we want to train ourselves for 28 days just to practice the best case scenario thinking and to really stretch ourselves in that area. So when we're catastrophic thinking, we're blinded by fear and you're operating in the amygdala. So you're not going to take risks. You're not going to open your heart. You're going to do the opposite of everything that will get you into heart and brain coherence. And one of the seven toxic ways of thinking and being is acting out of urgency. Again, you're driven by fear. You're driven by survival. You're driven by danger. You're driven not by vision. So imagine that this is how we're showing up in our business and our career and our money issues. What are the results we're going to get? It doesn't matter what type of course you're going to take. It doesn't matter who's mentoring you. These are such deep-seated toxic ways of thinking and being. We actually need a tool, a very simple, fun tool as appreciation to get us back on track, to get us back into a more cohesive way of practicing heart and brain coherence, because there's so much that we can achieve when we actually are in heart and brain coherence. So what can we achieve when we practice the tool of appreciation? The tool of appreciation is, of course, just one of them, you know, but I think appreciation is so game-changing that we want to really stick to appreciation as a tool. When you look at the opposite of how you could show up in life, you know, in terms of archetype, instead of criticizing, instead of devaluing, you could show up as the king or the queen, the ruler archetype, who has justice, who has vision, who has power, who is not trying to judge, who's just trying to create order in their kingdom and in their life, who is also upholding justice for all, instead of going into like, you know, childless criticizing, yeah, which doesn't help anybody. Instead of going into victim consciousness, we go into victor consciousness. And a lot of us are still stuck in victim consciousness. When you study the scale of consciousness of David Hawkins, you start to see how often we are stuck in victim consciousness. everything under the scale of 200 of David Hawkins is victim consciousness. And actually our society is very often ruled by victim consciousness. And it is because we are not taught that we are that powerful. We don't even believe it. We might listen to the books, but we very often fall back into repetitive patterns of feeling like a victim and thinking like a victim. Scarcity mindset, survival, living in a state of survival again. The opposite is, of course, living as a creator, really taking ownership of all the results in your life, even the not so nice ones. As Esther Hicks says, I did that, I did that, I did that. She isn't only saying that about the nice things in her life, she's also saying that about the things that are not so nice in her life. When you start to take that power back, you will be able to shift so many things. Instead of being an historian, you become a visionary. Instead of being blind to infinite possibilities, you become the sage. So you become very wise in how you relate to infinite possibilities. Instead of being blinded by fear, you become the hero. You start becoming the explorer. Is an archetype in your business. These are all archetypes that you can actually really look at how they work into your business and your money and your career. And instead of being driven by fear, where you act out of urgency, you start to become a magician. You start to really change you see the illusion behind reality. So, and reality is a big one. Reality is what we're going to be dealing with in week 4. So I spoke about the scale of consciousness. This is really, really what we're going to be studying when we're playing this game. I was in a mastermind where we dissected David Hawkins' consciousness scale. This is the emotional guidance scale of Abraham Hicks. We'll also be looking at that, but the David Hawkins one is much more scientifically validated. So we're going to study David Hawkins. Yeah, so now back to Ellen.
Okay, so the appreciation game that we will be playing, the launch of the appreciation game is this week, actually. So the objective is to have accountability for ultimate benefits, because let's just be honest with ourselves, we often have good intentions to do things like this, but either we forget to do them, or they become less, or they become kind of like a habit in itself. So you're not really fully in it. So yeah, then you don't really get the benefits either. So the duration of all the games that we have set up now is 6 months. Doesn't mean you have to play now for 6 months. We have other options as well, but we have like a little schedule for 6 months. Each month we'll focus on different topics. So we're starting with career, money, and business, and then topics such as self-love and relationships and other beautiful things that we know will benefit everyone and ourselves. So what will you get? Of course, what it is said, accountability, which is major, the life-changing process of appreciation. If you just looked at those 7 toxic ways of thinking that Angelique just spoke about, I'm like, yeah, appreciation is kind of the key there. So weekly live calls with us, uplifting and motivating group energy. I feel all warm and fuzzy when I think about that, because we had the little short 1-week version in the summer, and it was just so beautiful to read everyone's message and just see everyone like lift each other up. It's just, yeah, I love it so much. And then us. Holding the space for you with so much love, and committing our time and energy into creating the best space that we can for all of us. So if you are ready to commit this playful practice, I love that we call it playful and that we call it game, because it's not a challenge, it's not harsh, and of course there's like accountability, so we have to be kind of strict, but it's also like it's fun. You get to like take a time out and appreciate. Okay, I'm digressing. You can play the appreciation game for 7 days, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. And of course we kept the price super low for the 6-month period, because we know this will create the biggest benefits. The more you do it, the better. We're starting January 9th. That's this Thursday. And we're starting, this is the first 28 games, so career, money, business edition of the appreciation game. First week is self, appreciate yourself, just beautiful. Appreciate others, appreciate your life path, and your vortex, which Angelique will dive into.
So, week 1, So we downloaded this again. So basically, when you look at your the self, you can look at really how appreciation could take you away from, you know, all the stuff around devaluing yourself, doubting yourself, and not feeling good enough, competing and comparing, blaming others, blaming economy, blaming competitors or whatever, blaming your ex-boss. A lot of the scarcity consciousness that comes. Really, this is really, really a big game changer to really play this all out, just really looking at your relationship with yourself and how you are identifying yourself and how you get out of the unconscious archetypes of victimhood. Week 2 is about others, and Abraham says there are no others. It's actually all about the vibration you offer. They're all a reflection of the vibration you offer, the relationship you actually have again about yourself, which is that big slide that we had about everything you criticize is about you. Yeah, so you can change the people and new ones will appear with the same dynamics. Changing your emotions, we would say your consciousness, that changes the dynamics, whether with the same people or new people. Imagine this would happen in your business or your business partners or people that you need to work with. That would be amazing, right? So week 2, we're going to look again at how can we appreciate our prospects? How can we appreciate opportunities? How can we appreciate competitors even? How can we get out of this game of trying to get things? How can we create instead of competing? We create. Bob Proctor always said, amateurs compete, professionals create. And he was talking about universal laws. And I studied with him for many years. And I also studied with a Bob Proctor certified coach. So instead of competing, we're going to teach you to create an alignment and to know that you're a channel of the divine to serve others, not here to get something, but here to serve something as a channel of the divine. And instead of blaming others, you know, like staying in victim mode, we're going to see everybody as feedback, as you were a vibrational match to these circumstances, people, and events. Even if it didn't sound like you did anything to deserve it, somehow you were a vibrational match to it. And how can you change it? How can you turn it around? And very often also when we look at others, we often fall into habits of feeling that there's not enough, you know, there's not enough clients, there's not enough money, there's not enough opportunities, there's not enough investments, whatever it is that you think, you know, that's really just all a reflection of your belief and your chronic patterns of thoughts around the illusion of scarcity consciousness. Because when you start to align with the reality of our universe, you know, abundance is actually the real essence of what we can tune into, but we need to align with it. We cannot stay broke in our mindset and how we identify ourselves with, like a victim, and imagine that abundance can flow into our lives. We can never ever stay in those survival archetypes and survival toxic ways of thinking and being, and allow in abundance to show up. So I hope that that's very clear. Week 3, we're going to talk about life purpose. And one of the movies that I saw a while ago was the movie Finding Joe. And so we're going to watch that movie collectively. And I think that should be an amazing, it should open up a lot of avenues for you to really see how your career path and how your life path, how they start to converge, and how you can actually really look at, you know, maybe so-called failures, so-called diversions as things that you had to embrace, that you can embrace, and that are going to allow you to start and work with, you know, the profound acknowledgement that life is always working for us. So, and in week 3, we're also going to be studying some of the laws that are very important, which is the law of compensation and the law of compensation and the law of receiving. Sorry, I just created this by downloads. So seriously, I don't even know what's right. I just download it and I don't even know what's on the slide. So I have to actually see the slide. Then I know what I downloaded, yeah? So imagine that you are in your life purpose and you're doing your life's work, but you're still not feeling worthy to lead. You're not feeling worthy to receive money, or you are, what I really know about a lot of helpers in the world, they are stuck in the Enneagram, the negative levels of consciousness of the Enneagram 2. Enneagram 2 is the helper. And the helper does not care about money. And I can tell you, whenever I go to an Enneagram course, 75% of the room is a helper. And all of them have problem with money. And I think a lot of the people that are in the personal development world are Enneagram 2. And so I happen to have attended Enneagram and Abundance course with Robert Holden. And I have books about the Enneagram and money because I was so fascinated by how each Enneagram type is stuck in their money story and in their Enneagram affliction. So that those are all the tools that we can actually help you with so that you get breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. Yeah. So week four is going to be amazing because that is chapter 4 of the Science of Getting Rich. And I will tell you, when I listened to chapter 4 of Science of Getting Rich, I couldn't sleep. And the Science of Getting Rich is written in very difficult old English. And I was listening to it and something happened to my brain. Like, I think my brain exploded and I couldn't sleep all night because it's like my soul recognized something. And basically, chapter 4 of the Science of Getting Rich teaches us that appearance is not reality. And those of you who listen to Abraham Hicks, those of you who work with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and even Bob Proctor, we know that beyond our current manifested reality, there are infinite quantum potentials. Even in the Course in Miracles, they teach this as well, that appearance is not reality. But we are always relating to reality as if it is a fixed thing. And then we start to, create whole patterns of beliefs and actions, strategies around it. And so, what does this mean for our business? It means for our business that we are hypnotized, that we are not seeing vision, we're not seeing as a visionary, we're not understanding reality even. We're not creating as somebody who owns their power to command matter in the quantum field. And we're not lining up with the field of infinite possibilities. And also, we are not acknowledging the reality of our vortex. As Abraham Hicks would say, your vortex already happened. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. Just chill and relax. And you're going to receive the guidance for the next logical step, for the next easy step, the next step that makes sense for you being a cooperative component due to your desire, and where you are a cooperative component to the desires of many that need to work with you. So week 4 Vortex is going to be amazing because that teaching has the potential to shift you really on another level if you hadn't already shifted in week 1, 2, or 3. So I just started downloading all these worksheets. The way that we play is we have 3 times in the day that you need to check in. You need to check in your vibrational set point. So you do it in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. And when you check in, you look at your vibrational set point before you do the appreciation. And then you look at your vibrational set point after 68 seconds minimum of appreciation. And you can choose how you're going to play it. And then basically, we also give you like some inspiration or a teaching or a video clip or something that is very relevant for the day and the theme of the week. And so, for instance, when we're talking about self, let's look at, how can I appreciate that I am irreplaceable and I am appreciated by those whom I have served in my career, business, and my natural skill and my talents. So imagine that you start thinking like that. You start making that a habit, and you do that 7 days, and you do that for 28 days. Imagine what will shift in your life. Another one, how are we devaluing our prospects? How are we criticizing our prospects? How are we not even seeing our prospects for who they are? What if we started appreciating our ideal prospects or our current clients, our existing clients, instead of criticizing them or blaming them or just wishing they were different? How can we just start appreciating them? And what will shift in our lives? How can we start appreciating our business instead of like feeling victimized by it, feeling overwhelmed by it? And how can we see our business in relationship to our purpose, which is the purpose of my business is to help create a better world. I'm here to offer solutions for people who need it. How can you change your life around when you start thinking in your business in a complete different way? How can you appreciate your products and services and how it helps your ideal clients? How can you start really, really creating those neural networks in your consciousness that your products and services are needed and people are looking for them, and they're really dying to work with these products and services. Very often we don't believe that. So we really actually need to create this in the quantum field, and we need to embed these embed this in our neural networks before we can actually really, you know, make it our new conditioning, our new baseline. And how can we, you know, relate to our ideal clients not as something like a phantom, like something that's non-existing? How can we start relating to our ideal clients as, wow, I appreciate my ideal clients because they love working with me. We're getting these results together. We are creating these projects and we're changing lives. How can you start appreciating your ideal clients in such a way that you start pre-paving your life day by day? So actually what we're doing is we're pre-paving, and those of you that know the Abraham Hicks teaching, pre-paving is you are being a quantum creator, because quantum creators, they create things before they exist. They see things, they feel things before they exist, and that's how you create. Very often in our business though, we're in survival, so we look back and we are basically looking at, for instance, at the bank account or the balance sheet or the profit and loss statement, and we're feeling overwhelmed and criticizing ourselves, yeah? So when we start to pre-pave with the appreciation game, and we start to combine all these Abraham Hicks processes with the process simple tool of appreciation, imagine what could happen. So for instance, pre-paving, what I appreciate about the wealth or the well-being that I'm creating for myself and my clients who keep getting above and beyond results. Imagine that you're changing the pictures that you're relating to. Instead of just having the pictures of what is or what cannot be or what failed, you know, all the neural networks of failure, start creating neural networks for amazing success, for win-win situations, and for you really being in your vortex, operating from the vortex, really running your business from the vortex. So these are 3 of the books that we're gonna be studying from, and you know, feel free to study them, but I can tell you it is difficult. I masterminded these books. I would wake up every day at 5 a.m. and I would study these books 2 to 3 hours a day. That's how much you need to study to actually live these books, because this stuff is so mind-blowing and so contrarian to how we think about physical reality. So I feel ready now, and I was ready before, but I'm now aligned to really teach this. And Ellen and I are going to choose the download and mix it up so that you actually get as much as possible when you're playing with us. You're not just going to play an accountability game, you're going to see the puzzle fit together. And it's not just Abraham Hicks teaching, it's going to be science-based, it's going to be all these amazing teachers that are giving us the universal laws on our plate. All we have to do is we have to take it in little portions and apply them in our lives. And you get to choose. We know that you're an adult. You get to choose how you're going to play, but we're going to give you that information, and you're going to be taking them in day out. And you're going to be, at one point, there's going to be a tipping point where you just know this is how the universal laws work. You're just going to be more tuned into appreciation and heart and brain coherence and your new identity than your old self in your business and your money and career. So I said, you know, every day, Ellen and I will be creating a new forum, and everybody needs to post on the forum their insights, and they can choose whatever they want to share. They can create, they can create a little video, or they can create a poem, or they can create a list of their appreciation. We don't care. We do want you to post, and what we will be posting something inspiring for the day. It could be a concept, it could be a movie clip, it could be a teaching or a quote, and we'll be explaining why it's so important to actually study that for that specific day. And of course, we'll be providing worksheets that you can use if you want to, but you don't have to. It is just for you to inspire you to really think deeper, more profoundly about this subject of your business, your money, and your career. We said this already in the former game. We said, why do we play games collectively? those of you who know attractor fields are created by people and by communities. And when you have a group, the attractor field is even more powerful, but it is about intention and the level of consciousness that is dominant in the group. And Ellen and I have a very strong intention, very powerful intention to really create win-win and to create above and beyond results for our clients, because we see ourselves as channels for this game. We are not here to just basically put our ego on the game. We're just here downloading and saying, okay, give it to us. We're gonna implement it. And so we feel very blessed and fortunate that we are the channels for this game, but we also feel that everybody that resonates with this and who joins us will be gaining heavily from the game, and that we together will create positive intentions that amplify. Apart from that, we got as feedback from the 7-day group that a lot of it is about community. A lot of it is about being inspired by others who are on the same path, doing the same things. People would read each other's posts and they would be moved. They would be inspired. They could not disregard all the other members contributing to the appreciation game. And it really, very often really changed their lives for the better. And also think about the 100 monkey effect, you know. If one person has a breakthrough, that's a breakthrough for the other members of the group. And also from research we know now, you look at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, they have a lot of research, and also HeartMath has a lot of that research about how a mastermind becomes one mind through entanglement. The process of entanglement is real. Those of you in the Dr. Joe Dispenza community, those of you who are in our meditation group or our healing group, or who are actually working on us, you know that entanglement is really real. And very often entanglement can work negatively or positively. We are going to create positive entanglement that is going to create a lot of fun and joy in our lives. And we're going to work with the power of group intention. There's a lot of research about that as well. So we're going to set intentions every week. We're going to download them, and we're going to see what we can actually, what we can collectively create. So Ellen will talk us through the testimonials.
Yes. So I would say the 7-day group that we spoke about a couple of times, who were all amazing geniuses. A couple of them, these are a couple of the testimonials we got from them. So as I already said, the group dynamic was a big one. But I want to read a couple of the beautiful testimonials to you. The first one is Michael from Germany. Learning about and feeling the difference between gratitude and appreciation, being able to do the work and keep an elevated level of awareness of appreciation, even while being on a tough retreat, realizing more of what there is in my life and in life itself that I deeply embrace and appreciate. I thought I was a positive thinker. This one, I can't see who it is, Louise. But being part of the group and constantly reading everyone appreciating made me realize how I quickly fell back into old thinking programs. It really made me look for things to appreciate, not just for the first hour of my day, but all day long. Finally, that brought me into the realization that it is actually a decision that you make to stay in a vibration of appreciation. 7 days made it start to become a habit. Being a part of the group was very important. Reading how others were doing really lifted you. I was focusing much more on how to stay in the vortex during the day and connecting to life. Even after the 7 days, I'm still following this habit of just enjoying little things, nature, and random people around me. Posts of other people really inspired me to look at appreciation from different perspectives. I would recommend the appreciation game for everyone who wants to apply more consistency, sincerity, and meaning to their spiritual life. From Matthias. Thank you, Matthias. I copied the emotional scale shared in the appreciation game. I guess the consciousness scale is similar, and have it as my screensaver on my fridge. I look at it every day and figure out where I am, and have my kids do it too. The game made me more conscious. There's a ton of added value with the group because it was a place to check in every day and get experience and hope from others, as well as responses to whatever I posted. I knew I had to do it because there was a group. I don't think I would get the same results without the group because some of the posts were what moved me the most. I would recommend the game to anyone who is trying to live a more deliberate and joyful life. Thank you, Abby. So yeah, we start on January 9th, this Thursday. And as we said earlier, we're starting with self, others, your life's path, and your vortex. So
Yes.
these are the...
Yes, this is my slide.
Okay.
So we're almost at the end, girls and boys and beautiful geniuses. So yeah, 6 months game, we'll be creating a webinar every month to explain the next month's game. But for those who want to sign up for the 6 months game, some of you felt it and you immediately signed up for the 6 months game. And I really want to thank you for your trust in us, because you are our ideal clients. You are just so aligned with us that you just trust our 6 months game download. So the second month, we are going to look at relationships and the best case scenario. The third month, we're going to look at infinite possibilities, and we're really going to delve into what we believe is appearance and the illusion of appearance. The fourth month, we're going to really practice seeing through the eyes of source. The fifth month, we're going to really learn how to download, how to tune into our guidance and to bypass analysis paralysis. And the sixth month, we're going to master living in a state of creation. And what does it really entail? So what will you get when you're on the appreciation game? You will get accountability. You can tell us with a maximum of 3 days, within how many days you want us to kick you out when you do not post, when you do not do the appreciation. That's up to you. When you want to be an adult, you have to play by adult rules, because the ramifications for your life are just simply too big, right? So you tell us whether it's 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. And then we do as you tell us. We will kick you out and you will not get a refund back. So that is how we're going to play to help you be accountable. So we're also going to ask you to comment on people's posts, because we think it's very important that you get inspired by each other, so that you do not do this as something, you know, like, oh, I'm going to try this. No, you're going to be committed. If you're going to play our game, we want you to be all in. And otherwise, don't play with us. Just do it by yourself. But we don't want people who are half in, half out. We want results. We got results. And we want to play with people who are serious. So this is the high level of quality of people that we want to attract. And we want people who say, you know what? For the big changes in my life, the amount of money that I'm going to pay, I'm going to pay it. It's not a lot of amount of money. Because if it's well, I'm going to be like, you know, getting it back 1,000-fold, yeah, 1,000-fold or more. Every day, we're going to study, we're going to learn a new concept. And so Ellen and I are really, really geeks. That's why we were attracted to work with each other. We are very, very, you could just lock us up in a library and we would stay there. We wouldn't have to come out. But yeah, we have to do something with it, right? We also need to serve the world. So that's what we're doing with this game. We're going to integrate the game with a lot of teachings that we've been studying. It's going to stop your habitual ways of being. You're going to be in a moment-to-moment of awareness of how you get in and out of appreciation. You're going to practice appreciation as your baseline. You're going to do what Dr. Joe says. You're reconditioning your body to a new mind. Your body is no longer the master telling you that you feel a bit victimized, telling you that you feel like a failure. You're not going to listen to those programs anymore. You're going to practice emotional mastery. When you're triggered in your business or your career or money issues, you're going to shorten the refractory period. This is a really key teaching of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And, you know, everybody who knows this, like, you know, especially also the people who study HeartMath, when you shorten the refractory period, your life will shift, because the quicker you can shorten your refractory period, the quicker you can get back into clarity about what is reality. Because when we're triggered, we're not living in reality. We're living in the illusion of the program. And that robs us of our power and our resourcefulness. You're going to practice heart and brain coherence. You're going to really know what it is. And because of that, you're going to really practice and condition yourself to live in a state of creation. Living in a state of creation is ultimately living in the receptive mode. So we're going to look at all these Abraham Hicks processes, but yeah, we're going to go into that when you are in the game. So 7-day game you can play for 99 euros. So that's not cheap, some will say, but we want you to be serious. Even if you come in for 7 days, we're not giving it away for free, because people who come for free, they don't value it. They don't even take it seriously. So we put a price here, which we thought the people who are just going to pay the money and not show up, they're not going to pay $279. The people who are going to pay $279, they are the people that are serious. And wouldn't you want to be in a mastermind of people that are serious? Wouldn't you want to hook up with people that are going to shift their life around? Or do you want to be in a game where there's thousands of people, everybody paid a low amount, but nobody is committed? 20% shows up, 80% doesn't even show up. I mean, that's not what we're going for. We want a really committed group. And if it resonates with you, this is under 10 pounds, 10 euros a day for the results that you're going to get. I think that's nothing. This is like a profound breakthrough in your unconscious ways of being and thinking and your archetypes. So it's going to be really, really big. The 3-month game is $649 per quarter, ex VAT. That's $770 per day. And if you commit to the 6 months game, it's only $660 a day. So your saving is huge, like 563 is like 2 months. You're actually just paying for 4 months. So what we have, so you can see how many teachings you get. So every day you get a teaching, 28 days, 28 teachings and a group call, 3 months game, 84 teachings, concepts, 6 months game, 168. That's a lot. We do have an offer. Ellen, can you explain the offer? And I'm just gonna save my throat.
Yes, of course, save your throat. If you want to, if you want to play the game with us, you can get a 50% discount on the prices we just showed if you leave us a testimonial. So you can give the testimonial if you already played the 7-day game in the small group. The testimonial you gave that we just showed, that already counts. So you get the 50% anyway. If you were in that group and you want the 50% discount, you get it too. And anyone here watching it gets the 50% discount as well. If you leave us a testimonial, that's all you have to do. And then if you like this, if you want that, I'm just gonna look at the message. Yes, there will be a replay of this recording, Jacqueline. Sorry, I lost what I was gonna say. Yeah, you can ask us a question, a DM in Facebook or wherever you see us in the group or something, and then we'll give you all the details on how to get the 50% discount, how to pay, all that good stuff.
So the 50% offer is for the first month, because we're not offering 50% on the 3 months game and the 6 months game, because we believe that if you pay, you're going to be committed. And if you don't pay, you're not going to be committed. So that's really how hard, that's really what we also want to teach you, is that your effort and your talent and skills should be valued. And if you want us to play a cheaper game, that's not us. We have created an avatar of our ideal client, and those are the people we want to work with. And the other people are not the people we want to work with. So that's how simple it gets. So if we're going to create this clarity for ourselves, you're going to have that clarity for your ideal clients, and you're going to challenge your ways of thinking. Oh, maybe I shouldn't charge so much money. Maybe nobody wants to pay this. Nobody can afford this. This is all reflections of your scarcity consciousness. If you keep on thinking like that, are you going to raise to the level of a Dr. Joe Dispenza or a Bob Proctor or a Tony Robbins or a Vishen Lakhani or a Brendon Burchard or, you know, all the big players in the game? Or are you going to play small and say, I'm going to discount myself and I'm not going to play this game because it's too expensive? You know, Ellen and I really live the abundance teachings. And when we do that, those are the clients we want to work with. So if you feel any type of challenge in terms of the price, I would challenge you to at least take part in the 50% offer, so that you can find out for yourself how you are in your own way and how you can get out of the way, because nobody's in your way. Nothing is in your way, only us. We are the only person in our way. And the 50% offer is something that we really wanted to offer, so that there is like, there's a commitment. It's not free, but there's still enough room for a lot of people to really start playing with us. And then when we go to the second month, the third month, fourth month, fifth month, we're going to evolve, and we can find out how we can adjust the game and how we can really elevate the group consciousness even more. So that's what we want to do. And yeah, we know that the right people will join us. That's a very strong intention we set. So if you're doubting, if you think it's too expensive, or you think you won't have time for this, you think it's too rigorous, please do not join. We will be creating an app. We will be creating an app. So maybe in a few months' time when we launch the app, you can work with the app. But we just want to work with people who really feel excited about being here, excited about working with us. And second but not last, we are offering an affiliate scheme. So people with big communities, people that have friends, people that have loved ones that might want to join us, you can actually earn 20% on every referral you get for each month that they join. And so, so we want to reward you for getting people to play the game with us, but we also want you to earn money on it. So, so if you can have 5 referrals, you can get this game for free, basically. And if you don't know 5 people, you might bump into them, manifest them. I don't know. Anyways, I want to thank you. I profoundly appreciate you for sitting here for, I don't know how many hours. I think we've almost like 90 minutes or something, or 80 minutes.
Yes. We have a question from Victoria. If there's going to, if they give the testimonials before or after the game?
Well, they should give the testimony after the second week.
After the second week, yeah.
Yeah, after the second week. So, and really just very simple. We're just going to give you a questionnaire and you just answer the questions. That's it. That's testimonial. And we're going to ask to use your name. And if you really don't want us to use your last name, that's okay. But if preferably, we would use your full name and your picture. So, and if that's going to prohibit you from joining, just pay the full price. Then you don't need to. Then you don't need to you don't need to give a testimonial, and you'll still be in the game. So it's just something that we really want to offer. It's not going to be about the money, I would say. I have paid way more money on other things that didn't work. And you don't have to play this game with us. You can do this by yourself. But I think this will be full of fun. Ellen and I are going to be like, we're going to start creating the 10-day worksheets. We're going to creating a forum in something called Ning. It's very easy, and it's very good to you can really see per day all the responses and all the subjects. Not like Facebook. Facebook groups are a bit like all over the place. We don't want to use Facebook groups. We're going to use Ning as a forum, and we're going to guide you how to really dedicate this time to get the best out of this game. So I want to appreciate you again. And if you want to be an affiliate, please find us. We will find a way to track all the people that you refer to us so that you get paid, because we really want all to benefit. We believe in abundance. Ellen and I have set a big goal for this. We really want to be a big company. We really want to be, we just have the intuition that, we're going to be massive as a company. And that is not because we're thinking that this is the way it is, but we think this game has a huge potential to change people's lives in a fun way. So that's why we're also creating an app. We actually manifested an app developer, which is a friend of mine. And I will tell that story another time, because as Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches, you do not go to the vortex, you become the vortex. This app developer came to my house in Amstelveen from Australia. And I didn't look for one because I lived the Dr. Joe Dispenza teachings. You never go out and hunt. Things come to you. And that is just another anecdote that we will share. So Ellen, you have any last thing?
One more question from Judy. She says, I'm thinking of doing 1 month. I'd like to get the discount with a testimonial. What if I give a testimonial before we start? Because she has a huge amount of AFest Mind Valley community on her Facebook.
Then if she has a huge amount of people that she can bring, then she could even get it for free, right? If you bring 5 people, then you earn money on the game instead of paying for it. I don't see the point of giving a testimonial before the game starts, because what does that mean? I don't understand how that works. How can you give a testimony before you participated in the game? So I don't really get that. But if you can explain to me, please do so. Because I think you can only give a testimony after you've played the game with us for at least 2 weeks. That's what I think. Does it make sense? I need to go now because my voice is really suffering.
Yeah, we'll send you all. I'm assuming you all signed up through Eventbrite or Facebook.
We'll send out the link for the 50%
you'll get the link
offer.
and then all the information. So you have our contact info. So you just reach out when you're all the lovely people who are excited to join. I have a question from Anna. I'd like to join both 50% first month and still do 6 months. Please let me know how.
Yes, we will let you know how.
Okay.
Because we will keep on developing the game, Anna. So, for instance, the relationship game, my download for this relationship game.
Good question from Judy. How can you get a discount before you sign up? So they pay 50%, and then we just trust that you're going to give the testimony.
Yeah, we're going to trust that you're going to get the testimony, or we throw you out.
No, we love everyone.
We're the admins, so we can throw you out, right? You're going to tell us when to throw you out as well. So
yeah, you'll tell us. Yeah.
But that's not what we're aiming for in the game. And we want you to earn your money back multiple fold. Yeah, that's what we're going for. Let's earn some money here. Let's manifest amazing money. So thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Chi. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Victoria. And Jacqueline. And who else was commenting? I know a lot of people here are people we know. Silvana, Christina. I know some of the people who are listening to the replay. Paul, hi Paul, we love you. Hi Gabriella, I love you too. Hi Sue. And those of you who don't know, yeah, we are in multiple communities. We are running multiple masterminds, but this game is a game changer because it is going to be the culmination of, I think, many of the masterminds that I've been running. And I just felt that I couldn't do this by myself. Why did I involve Ellen? Because I will tell you why I involve Ellen. Just like everybody else, if I don't have an accountability partner, I end up not doing anything. Working with Ellen is giving me accountability, and working with Ellen is giving me like some kind of feedback around whether I can, whether I should be doing things. So Ellen is like my sparring partner, and we are so aligned. We manifest things like all the time. And I'm now getting a text from the love of my life, Geert, and he's asking me whether I'm ready. I'm ready, babe. We have to go now because I want to say hi to my baby. He just came back from France. So Ellen and I want to say goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
So fun to have you all here. I'm so happy to meet all of you guys in the game.
Yes.
Not all of you guys, but the ones who want to play. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of love, everybody. We're going to upload the recording, and we're going to send out the offer, the link as well. And we're going to actually explain as well how you're going to become an affiliate. Okay, yeah. Bye-bye.
Christina,
bye, everybody.
We'll get to you too with a question. Yeah, bye, everyone.
Bye.